Okay, so I've got my coil ready, I've got my pinch pot ready, and although the coil looks thicker, I'll show you why we're gonna make it thicker. First thing I've got to do is I've got to score this. Okay, there's lots of ways you can score, and you can see I'm not being too gentle. Some people just make these faint little lines. You want to chew that clay up because you want it to grab the clay when you put the coil on top. Okay, so get that good and chewed up. Okay, then if you can keep some good slip nearby, see that good gooey stuff, it's like frosting. I'm going to put that on here. You can do water, but the problem with water is when water evaporates, it doesn't leave anything behind. But when water evaporates from slip, this is called slip, then you leave some clay behind, and that creates a bond. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to lay him right in here real slow. Okay, I'm just going to kind of lay him in a circle and pinch right there. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to support it, and I'm pinching it, and that makes it a little taller, but I'm pushing downward a little bit to create a bond. Okay, you don't need to necessarily score the top coil because I'm pushing this down into that slip and into that carving, and once I've got it fairly even, I'm going to use one of these tools. It's called a potter's pick. I'm going to dip that part. My thumb fits real nicely right there. And what I could do is bring one of these over. It's called a banding wheel. Now I can turn that. And I'm going to support the clay on the opposite side of where I'm pushing here. Don't ever push without support on the inside. Because if you do that, you'll change the shape. It won't be round. It might be wonky. Okay. And so what I'm doing right now is just smearing that clay down. And I'm going to smear that little gap. And as soon as I'm done, I'm going to hold it like that now, and I'm going to smear that up like this. Or maybe I can show you, yeah, that's better. I can show you that way. You can see I'm always supporting. Okay, and you might smear up or down. It depends on which feels right for you. As long as you're kind of blending that in. Okay, and once you got that, then you're going to come back in, and you're going to compress that with the paddle. Okay, compress this with the paddle. Again, you can kind of take that and you can kind of smear it and smooth it like this. Okay, you can take this tool, whatever works. The goal is I really shouldn't see where that seam is by the time I'm done. When I'm ready to do another coil, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to show you another little trick. There's my original seam. I don't want to stack the two ends the same way. I want the joint to be somewhere else. Okay, let's get some more of that good goopy stuff in there. The water. Okay. Okay. Now, what I could do is if I want the pot to go outward, I might lean it, as you can see from the side. See, I'm leaning that out, and I'll blend at an angle, and the more extreme I do, the more sharp the turn. If I want the pot to go in, I lean it on the inside edge and blend it that way, and so now the pot is turning. So maybe the pot kind of has a shape to it. Okay. Otherwise, I can just lay it straight in again. You want to do one layer at a time, and I'm pushing again, and I'm holding on to it. I'm squeezing, pushing that down. Sometimes it stretches and you may have to cut off a little bit more. Should look pretty good. Okay, holding that steady, and one more time, I'm gonna blend that. Now eventually what might have to happen is, as you don't want to race too fast, but as you go up, you might end up making the pot a little bit flimsy, like it seems like it wants to fall. So you might have to take a little break from working on it and blow dry it a little bit, put it in front of a fan, let it stiffen a little before you continue upward. Okay, and I'll show you what this looks like now that I'm done. I'm holding pressure on. If you got a little bit of a gap there, I do have a little tiny gap. I'm just going to put a little fresh piece of clay right in that seam. So it blends real nice. Okay, and so we're on our way to making a pot. Now all I'm going to need to do is paddle that or press it or compress that and keeping it round and then continue to build my shape. And that's coiling on top of a pinch pot.